Good afternoon. I want to welcome everyone to our Board of Directors agenda meeting for January 14, 2020. This is our opportunity to review the agenda for our formal board meeting that will take place on January the 21st. We'll now have a couple presentations for the day. We'll have a City of Little Rock employee retirement. Philip Trantham from Fleet Services Department. Mr. Moore.
You can tell Philip's about to retire because when I came into the room, he was just smiling. We are recognizing Philip Trantham today after 28 years of service. His awards include receiving an Appreciation of Service Award for 20 years. He says his plans for retirement, and I plan to spend most of my time doing my typical retirement things, such as gardening and fishing, when my wife doesn't have me working on my honey-do list. I want to travel the United States on my motorcycle and play the guitar. I might even start my own band. At this time, let me ask the Director of Fleet Service, Willie Hinton, to come up and say a few words about Philip.
Mr. Mayor, Board of Directors, Mr. Moore. Philip has been at the city for 28 years. That's a long time to be there. So I was kind of kidding a little bit during his retirement party that I'm not going to make it 28 years over there. I'm a little old for that. And he kind of got down here that he wanted to do honeydew things. So I shared with him at the retirement party that I was retired for 4 years before I came to Fleet. And that honeydew list got awfully long. That's the reason why I had to come back to work. Philip, we're going to hate to see you go. Phil can work on every type of vehicle that comes to Fleet Service. That's from a weed eater all the way to a bulldozer. He's that good at what he does. So, man, we're going to miss you around there.
And he has a lot of colleagues from Fleet here today. Why don't y'all stand up? And so, Phil, come on up. On behalf of the City of Little Rock, I want to say congratulations and for a wonderful career with the city. 20 years anywhere is a long time. And so, again, congratulations. We're going to miss you, and best of luck. Godspeed.
Thank you, sir. I'm not much on words. I just want to say that I want to thank the citizens of the city for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of the city of Little Rock. And I just want to say, between me and my dad, we gave the city 75 years of service. And I'm just glad I did it for y'all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phillip. We really are grateful for you. We'll now have a presentation from Lieutenant Andre Dyer regarding and Sergeant Lewis regarding the upcoming Unity Ball.
I'd also like to welcome.
And Officer Ronnie Morgan.
Sir. Good evening, Mayor.
I didn't notice him with a new beard there growing in.
It's been there, sir.
I haven't seen you in a while then.
He said he can't grow it on his head, so he decided to grow it on his head.
Fell down the side.
Me too. I'm just not going to say it.
Bald as I am.
Good evening to all of you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, Mr. Carpenter, and the board. We, as a police department or units of a police department, decided that it was time to do something different. We were tired of the only time we really get together is at funerals, officers in the line of death. We need to do something to celebrate us as one common unit instead of two different entities. The FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, and the Black Police Officers Association came up with the idea on the mantra of what the mayor ran on, unification. And this is something that we came up with. It's a unity ball. It's going to happen on March 28th. And what that encompasses is everyone coming together to celebrate each other. A lot of times people believe that we're not on the same line, that there's always divisiveness within the department between the two organizations, when that's just simply not true. I'll be the first to tell you we don't agree on everything. But what we do agree on is creating an atmosphere for us to be safe, to make sure that those that we are here to protect, serve and protect, are safe. And that's what we want to do. But at the same time, we have to celebrate each other. And instead of waiting until someone leaves here and us celebrating them when they're gone, we want to celebrate each other while we're here. So this is an invite to you, March 28 at the Robinson. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a big time. It's the first annual, so it'll be something that we attempt to do every year. We've discussed it with some of the higher ups. We are looking for donations. We do plan on having a silent auction. So anyone that you know that would like to place an object in the silent auction, we would appreciate. Nothing is too small, nothing is too big unless it's a tractor. But if it fits in the building, we're willing to have it in our silent auction. And we want this to be successful. We want this to be a success. We will have a live band there. There will be some horse divers there.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Come on, Director Wright. Come on, Sanford and Son, Sanford and Son. Come on, way back in the day. I know you too young to remember Sanford and Son, but we do really plan on having a great time that evening, and we would love to invite all of you. Tickets will be $50 a piece. The proceeds, after all the bills are paid, will go to a selected number of charities that the FOP will have 2 or 3 that they will represent, and the BPOA will have 2 or 3 that we will represent. None of the monies will go back to either one of the organizations. So come out, celebrate with us, make this a success, invite your friends. You can go to Eventbrite to order your tickets, and let's make this successful. Little Rock is coming up. We're starting to look better, brighter, and the way we get this done is through the organization of both of these organizations. So we appreciate your time. If these are the 2 presidents of each organization. Officer Morgan is the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. Sergeant Lewis is the president of the Black Police Officers Association. I, in turn, hold the seat of vice president of the Black Police Officers Association. Any questions?
Director Hines?
Guys, thanks I know this has been in the works for quite a while with the Police Foundation and everything. I've been kept abreast, so I'm glad we've all put it together and you guys are announcing it. So I look forward to being there and participating with you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. We expect you to buy 6 tickets. What are you about to say?
There's no limit.
Any other questions?
Director Wright?
I just want to say that it gives me great pleasure to see the unity and to see you guys visibly working together, because we know you work together internally, but from the exterior, it's a good look. And so I congratulate you on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Just to add to what Lieutenant Dyer said, we got tired of the only time that our organization was talked about in the media was how
Negative.
divided we were. So we decided to take over the narrative
And I agree
instead
with
of
that.
letting someone else tell it.
That's it. And I'm a strong supporter of writing your own narrative, because people will tell you who you are, and what you did. So you did a very wise thing. So I congratulate you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lieutenant Dyer, Sergeant Lewis, Officer Morgan, again, as we've shared since me coming into office, when we had our very first meeting about this, to now see it come to reality with actual date, time, and a location. First, I just want to commend you on that journey and your servant leadership and your individual capacities and collective capacities with both the Fraternal Order of Police and the Black Police Officers Association, in addition to what you do for each of us each and every day to protect and serve our city. And we are very grateful. I truly believe as we unite this city from every resident moving from disconnected to connected. It also starts at City Hall. It starts at all of our individual departments as well, because we are interfacing with our citizens each and every day, and we have to all be on one accord. And what you are doing is a clear demonstration of that. So thank you. I want to just give you a round of applause.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. We can now proceed with the review of the proposed agenda. Board members, are there any questions for the consent agenda items 1 through 9? Any questions for agenda items 1 through 9? Any questions for agenda item 1 through 9? Moving forward, plan and development items 10 through 16. Are there any questions? Vice Mayor Wyrick.
I want to hold separate, well, it's not up there yet. The one on Main Street, Mableville, Maine. I can't see the item. It's the Z4320-A? 14, okay. It's
Allie, if we would, we'll hold item number 14.
crooked on my screen, so I can't see the numbers for it. Yeah, I want to hold it separate. I have some issues with this location. The person that has moved into this property is not keeping it up. There's a number of tires that are around the location. He's not been a good steward of the property, so I need to understand what his plan is and how it's going to remain or get better. So I'd like to have it separate.
Yes, ma'am. Director Adcock?
I'd like to have a presentation on it, please. 14.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have numbers on yours? You don't.
Any questions from items 10 through 16 on the plan and development items? 10 through 16. Any questions 10 through 16? Seeing none. Director. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll have a presentation on 14 as well as holding that separate. We'll have that notated for the next board meeting. Oh, you want it today? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, Director Adcock. I apologize. Jamie?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the board. This property was an existing use. It's out there in Mableville, Maine. If we could pull up the zoning map for that item on 14, would probably give a description of where it's at. If you've drove down Mableville, Maine, if this has come up, you kind of, it's just south of the railroad tracks. It's wherever the city done some winding projects on Mableville Cutoff right there. It's where it ended. So that shop was there prior to annexation. I believe the annexation happened in 1979. The building was built that we're talking about in 1970. The person that originally built that building also owned the residential property just to the east. So it was like he lived, Mr. Humphreys, I believe, is the owner. He lived in that property just to the east, and that's where he worked. He went over there and worked, and it was an automotive repair business, and that's what it's been, all these years. It has come before the board previously, I believe in 1980. Yeah, 84, it come before to change the zoning. So when it got annexed in, it was annexed in at our standard zoning, which was R2. So it went out, entities do have an option of when they get annexed in, they can request zoning during that annexation process, and that didn't happen for this property. So in 84, it come before the board to change from R2 to C4, but it didn't receive any favorable recommendations at that time, so it was withdrawn, and so it didn't get heard, didn't get decided upon at that time. And so currently what's happening on there is automotive repair type business. Vice Mayor Wyrick is correct. It's more of a tire chains business at this time. And so what they're looking to do is come in and do a plan development to recognize what is there, the use that is there, and in that development, there's criteria set for right-of-way dedication that type of scenario through the development of the property. And so, and we have went out on this property and enforced the stacking of tires at this location. And also at the opposite location, there's also a repair business just adjacent across the roadway that we went out there and enforced in that location too for just automotive repair in the right of way, stacking of tires, that type of scenario for that. So with that, do you have any specific questions I may address?
Director Adcock.
Like Director Wyrick, this is usually an eyesore. Lots of the people coming in from on out Sardis and that area comes in on this street, and this is what they see in the middle of what we call downtown Mapleville. And I know that the majority of the people that live in this area do not understand it's in the city limits of Little Rock. But I would like to see some real cleanup on this before we look at it next week, because even those houses that are behind it, I think that we need to see, to make a better impression on people coming into that area, what this looks like.
And there was, and I want to make a note that there was one registered objector at the Planning Commission. They got heard, and they spoke in opposition to it and said that the Southwest Little Rock United Progress, there was split at that meeting. There was some that was in opposition for that use changing or that rezoning change for that.
Another thing about this area, that street right in front of that business, to your right, you see the new improved street that Public Works recently has done.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on the other side, and we have that one little block there that nothing has been done on the street. So are they going to have to do any street improvements?
The applications, the dedication of the right-of-way, and then it's the timing of the street improvement that we requested. The staff requested just the dedication of the 45-foot right-of-way from Mapleville, Maine for that one, and it was necessary for the master street plan.
Why are we not asking for street improvements on, you've got two streets, you've got Sardis and you've got Mapleville, Maine?
Well, I have to look, I'll read through the recommendations and I'll send that, the exact request that was done and all of the write-ups for that.
Okay.
The summary just has the right-of-way, but typically when they do the development, unless there was a waiver that was requested.
Well, you know, we go out in West Little Rock and we want everyone to do all the street improvements, everything, but we go to Southwest and just leave the streets in the bad condition that it's in. And particularly where we've spent taxpayers' money on the right of this location and on the left of this location, making good streets in this one area. And now we have an opportunity to require street improvements and we haven't. So I would like to see you write up on that.
Yes, ma'am, we'll get that right up and I will get with Public Works and look at any plans in the future that we may have for that connection for that Mapleville, Maine. I know that when I was over there, we stopped at it because that was a funding, level stop right there. It was a good place to stop, to kind of go over the railroad tracks. That's a big ticket item through there. But I will get a write-up for that on any of the progress and the estimate. And I believe there was an estimate that we did for the continuation, but I can't remember. I'll have to get with
over the railroad
Director
tracks,
Honeywell.
Over the railroad tracks is already widened. It's just this one little block area there that does not have it. And I think that we kind of promised the people that next time we had money that we would improve that street, but this gives us an opportunity to get some improvements by the applicant.
Yes, ma'am, we'll get that for you and send that out.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Wyrick.
I was going to hold my comments till Tuesday next week, but since Jones opened up Pandora's box, I just want to say that this has been a business for a number of years, and it was a body shop, and it was well maintained. The owner of it kept a clean location. His building was painted. Everything was neat and orderly. And this guy has moved in. First thing he did was put a rolling restaurant into the front of it, which I knew that was not a continuation of the previous use. And then there were tons of tires. Before it was a body shop, and now apparently it's a tire shop, but I've seen some body parts there as well, automobile body parts. So I reported the amount of tires that were there, because if you're a resident and you have tires in your yard, code enforcement comes out and asks you to remove them. And so after a short period of time, the tires disappeared, but then we started seeing tires at different locations in Southwest. Down the street from there, Johnson Road, there were tires in the right-of-way that were thrown out overnight. So I'm not saying this gentleman removed himself of the tires in the different locations, but it's pretty coincidental that his tires were gone, and then we had tires all over Southwest Little Rock that people were complaining about. So he's just not been a good steward, and if we can't tighten it up where he makes it look better, he is a good steward of the property, then I'm not going to be supportive of it, and that's why I want to hold this separate to hear what his comments are, or her comments.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Roderick. Thank you, Jamie. Are there any more questions? Any thoughts or concerns? I have a few things that I just want to give a few updates on. But Director Wright?
Mayor, this is not on any agenda item now.
Yes, this is the appropriate time.
Mr. Carpenter, can you please provide an update on Big Country Chateau? Okay. Well, will you get a report together or something so that we are knowing what the status is as far as that's concerned? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Wright. All right. Trying to beat our record. Looks like we've got about 120 seconds. Just wanted to give just two updates for calendar reasons. On January 19th, we will have our second annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Unity Day of Service. It will start at 3 p.m. at St. Mark Baptist Church. Dr. Charlie Dates, a senior pastor in Chicago, will be the keynote speaker. Would love to see the board there as you were there last year. Love to see as many board members that are available as possible. Again, 3 p.m. St. Mark Baptist Church, which is 5722 West 12th Street, and where Dr. Charlie Dates will be the keynote speaker for the second annual MLK Day Unity Service. And then finally, on January 30th, we will have our State of the City address, which will have a new time change again. It will be at 6 p.m. at Heifer Village in downtown Little Rock, 6 p.m. Heifer Village, downtown Little Rock. If there are no other questions, meeting adjourned. Director Adcock.
I brought up several weeks ago about a burn ban and asked staff to look at other cities who have put burning in their city limits, and we never have discussed that, so can we put that on the agenda for 2 weeks from tonight?
Yes, we'll add that to the policy discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, Mayor, Mr. Moore, I forwarded you some information on Nichols Road that I believe probably needs to go on over to Public Works for review. Talked to John. He said he hadn't seen it yet, but it's an engineering report that was emailed to me, and I'd like them to give me some type of information so that I can respond back to my constituent over there regarding that. Thank you.
Director Collins, if you would share the burn ban update, status update that we'll need with Chief Hubbard. Get a chance. I think you'll talk to him before. All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned.